Hey there, world travelers.
Hey there.
I'm Tanya.
And I'm Dave.
And we are Turn It Up World. Today, we're going to be talking about the Las Vegas reopening and our full reopen week experience.
And what you need to know before you go.
Yeah, so Dave and I were actually in Las Vegas for the reopening. We had about a full week to enjoy the reopening of Las Vegas, but at the same time, we noticed a lot of things that we figured we want to share with you guys so that if you are planning to go to Las Vegas anytime soon, you know what to expect when you arrive.
First up, the hotels and check-in process. When you drive up in your car, you'll notice you can either self-park for free, which is awesome. Pretty much all free parking now on the Strip, which is amazing. Or you can also do valet service at most of the casinos. Now, they've definitely taken extra precautions with COVID around that, so you'll notice a lot of cleaning that goes on with the valet service, but that is an option if you want to take it.
Yes, the other thing too is once you're out of your car and ready to enter, we thought initially that they were going to open up all doors for you, which is what we read somewhere. But apparently that's not the case. We did find out that at some places, they did open the doors for you. Other places, they had the, I guess the doors, kind of rotating doors were just kind of flowing automatically. And in other places, you had to do it on your own. Now, what we did notice is right beyond those doors, there were tons of hand sanitizer stations everywhere. So at the moment you open up the door, you can zap yourself with hand sanitizer right away. And it was strong, trust me. My hands are dry. My hands are still dry.
Right, and in addition to the hand sanitizer, many of the casinos will offer masks and some offer gloves as well. And actually some places had sinks in there.
Yes!
Almost like you're in like a bathroom that was right in the casino, right? Which is kind of crazy.
That was really
Go up
cool.
there with soap. You had basically a whole sink and soap and kind of a paper towel section right there on the floor.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Now, once you get through all of that, you got your hands all sanitized. The next phase, we noticed there were thermal temperature scannings taking place before you actually get into the lobby. Now, some of them are non-invasive, where you just kind of walk through and it detects your body temperature from like a full body scan. Others were basically a little more invasive. You had to either put your wrist up to the device to read the temperature, or someone would zap you with a temperature gauge to see what your temperature is like. And then others, they didn't even have them at all. So it was kind of interesting to see the transition between the different places that had them and that didn't have them.
Right, now things really varied. But once you got through the temperature checks, when they had them, right, you're on to check-in. And you'll notice right away, you get to the queue lines at check-in, there'll be very clear social distancing markings 6 feet apart, where people are, you're really keeping that distance to keep make you feel comfortable. And then when you actually get up to the check-in person at the counter, there'll be plexiglass between you and that person to kind of keep that boundary to help better protect you as well.
Absolutely. And what was cool too is like everything was basically non-touch for our experience. You basically had to, they put a little change or a little bin and you put your information down or your card or whatever it is, they take it back and everything is wiped down to a T. Every second they're wiping things down.
Yes, unbelievable.
So once you're all checked in and ready to head to your room, you gotta get in the elevators. So one thing we did notice stepping into the elevator is that there is a limitation of 4 people per elevator. They have clear signs on the walls. As a matter of fact, some hotels have clear markings along the floor of the elevator and all 4 corners, numbered 1 through 4, where you're supposed to stand, but no more than 4 people at a time in the elevator.
And in addition to all this social distancing, you'll notice that all the employees will be wearing masks. And actually the casinos are requiring the employees to wear masks, which is, from our standpoint, we think that's great. It makes us feel safe.
Yes, and also helping you to feel a little bit safer is the hotels are only operating at about a 50% capacity. And that's something that's pretty much mandated by the Nevada government. So just know that this is part of their first phase, it's 50%, and as time goes on, the next phase is gonna be more, but as of right now, it's only running about 50% capacity, so it means a little less people and more social distancing. So let's talk about the hotels and casinos. Now, the gambling tables, basically from what we saw, they all had plexiglass that really separated between you and the dealer. But in some instances, they were plexiglass separating you and the person sitting next to you as well. So a table that might have had 6 chairs now only has 3 with that separation of space. Now, what's important to a lot of people that are there while they're gambling is they like that free cocktail waitress service because you're gambling. Yes, we did notice that cocktail waitressing was still in effect, and of course, still some places have stronger drinks and others do not.
And when Las Vegas first reopened, many of the poker rooms were actually closed. But as the week progressed, many started reopening, and so you can expect actually when you arrive, probably most will be reopened. But some may still be closed, but just keep that in mind. And also, so you're aware, smoking is still allowed in the casinos.
Yes, it is. I still have some residue in my hair. Now, for those of you that love the pool, and it's hot in Las Vegas, so a pool sounds refreshing, definitely make your reservation early because there is limited capacity at the pools. And what we've noticed is they're closing early as well. So maybe if you're going sometime soon, I would contact whatever hotel you're staying at to verify if you need to make a reservation at your pool, at that hotel pool still, and get your name in there because there's limited space. I mean, as far as I know, from some folks we heard that if you don't make that reservation early, you may not be able to book it for your entire stay. So get those reservations early.
Make that reservation. And also, though, another point, the day clubs at the pools are not open yet, as well as the nightclubs. So nightclubs and day clubs are not open yet, and that will be coming in the future.
Yes, and who knows, maybe by the time you watch this, the nightclubs will be open. The nightclubs will be open. The nightclubs.
While the casinos are requiring all their employees to wear masks, we thought it's important to point out that they are not requiring all guests to wear masks. It's optional.
Yes, and they do have signs all over the casinos throughout saying basically they highly recommend that guests wear masks. It's just not required for them to do so. They even go as far as providing you with masks if needed.
Right, and so you expect to see when you're in the casino, some guests with masks and some without, just the way it is.
So let's quickly talk about the Las Vegas Strip crowds and what we noticed during our week stay at the Las Vegas reopening. Now, I will say that the hotels and casinos, the ones that are open anyway, such as Bellagio, Caesar's Palace, New York, Flamingo, Wynn, Encore, and others that are open, they're running at about a 50% capacity.
And that's a max capacity too. In addition to the ones that are open, there's many that are still closed, and they'll be opening up over time. But right now, Aria is closed, Planet Hollywood, Paris, Bally's, the LINQ, and others are still closed. And so, in terms of crowds on the Strip, they're pretty limited, max 25%.
Yeah, they really have been running at about 0.25%, and that's just really interesting to see, which really does allow for you to practice that social distancing, being that it's not as crowded as it is at the moment, but that could all quickly change as things start to open.
So let's talk about the restaurants. We had a great experience at many of the Strip restaurants during the week of the reopening. We found the restaurants to be not too crowded. They did a great job of social distancing, and all the employees were wearing masks.
And that really did make you feel comfortable. And they went above and beyond, a lot of them too. The QR codes that they used, there were no menus. There were no physical menus. They basically used a QR scanning system so that you can scan the menu onto your phone and order directly from there. So they really put protocols and things in place, which really did make you feel safe.
So that about does it for us. And those are some of the things we think are important for you to know before your next trip to Las Vegas. But I gotta say, we had a great time on opening week.
We really, really did. And we hope that you take this information, apply it to your trip so that you have a great experience when you're heading out there in Las Vegas. Now, hopefully you win big, but in this case, thank you guys so much for joining us. If you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so that you get every time we post something new and exciting. Thanks for joining us, World Travelers, and we look forward to seeing y'all in Las Vegas!